Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aronica Cole, and you are watching Aronica B. Cole and Co. on YouTube. Wow, it's been a really long time since I've done an intro, probably because I have not been recording videos. My apologies, friends. I'm back like I never left, or we're making pretend that anyway. So what have I been up to, right? I mean, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but like, whew, life has been lifing. We will have a life update post very, very soon, but for right now, I wanted to talk to you guys about two of the events that I went to that were geared towards sewists. The first one was QuiltCon that was held here in Atlanta, and y'all, in truth, I wasn't gonna go. Why? I'm not really a quilt artist. Yes, I've made like a quilt or two or three, but like, I'm no Bisa Butler, right? Like, that is just not my calling yet anyway. I mean, like, I love the way that people are out here using fabric and thread as though it's their medium, as though it's like paint, and I think that it is the coolest thing in the world. However, I'm an apparel sewist. But y'all, listen, my girl Lisa from Black Women Stitch was like, hey girl, I want to have an all black lounge while I'm out at QuiltCon. Will you come? And let me tell you something. When Lisa asks you a question, the answer is yes. Why? Because I love her. So Lisa and Naomi, they ventured down here and they arrived, and I was all set to help them set up, but they set up way faster than I could get through carpool line, okay? So I ended up meeting up with them actually the day of QuiltCon starting, and I was really excited. I was super excited because it's not been done before. Now, this lounge at QuiltCon was a black only lounge. Yes, black only. And it was really cool because it gave us the opportunity to come in and network. And I was so proud of Lisa because she got some of the most exciting sponsorships ever. Like, she got a sponsorship from AccuQuilt, and AccuQuilt created a special die cut that was exclusively for her. It was like made in the Black Women Stitch logo, which was super cool. She got a sponsorship from Spoonflower, and Spoonflower printed off some of the most beautiful designs from a black artist from their website. So the curtains were just wonderful. I'm hoping that I'll stick in some video. I don't know. Y'all know that I'm still kind of new with this YouTube thing. So as far as ambiance went, Naomi and Lisa hooked it up. Like, hands down, they did a fantastic job. There were live podcast recordings, interviews. I mean, I got a chance to meet Bianca Springer, who wrote the book Represent, which is an embroidery book that is geared towards inclusivity as far as including people of different races, specifically black women include, because embroidery, especially if you're doing hand embroidery, there's really not too many, like, you don't see Bantu knots on most of these embroidery designs is all I'm gonna say, okay? Like, y'all get what I'm saying. I got a chance to meet Latifa Safir. Like, I may have geeked out when I met her. I also definitely geeked out when I saw her commenting on my post, because in my head, like, I don't want to say like I'm a nobody, but like, y'all, I just be at the house sewing and like talking to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it was really so cool to meet some of these dope black women who I have looked up to in the sewing space. So the lounge was incredible, right? I loved that it was tucked into a corner so that we were by ourselves and we were able to have the freedom to go in, recalibrate, relax, and then leave. So, but also really big shout out to Spoonflower, to all of the, to AccuQuilt, and to all of the other sponsors of the Black Women Stitch Lounge, because y'all did a fantastic job. Like, knocked it out of the park. It was like freezing cold in there when I got in. Spoonflower had blankets. Y'all, these blankets were the most plush and comfortable blankets in the world. And now I'm like, Spoonflower, like, what's up with a blanket or two? Right? But really, fantastic. I cannot speak high enough about the lounge because it was truly, truly amazing. So the question that I'm often asked is QuiltCon worth going to if you're an apparel sewist? I'm going to say yes. Why? Y'all, listen. First of all, just because it's a quilt fabric does not mean you can't use it for something else. Matter of fact, all of my patterns that have dropped so far have been have been drafted for woven fabrics. And no, I'm not going to edit out that little piece where I stumbled either, right? People stumble. It's normal. I digress. Either way, you can use quilting cotton for any one of my designs that have dropped so far. So quilting cotton is not just for quilting, right? Also, they had some of the most amazing vendors that were out there. My BERNINA brand ambassador, my BERNINA dealer included. So my BERNINA dealer is Atlanta Sewing Center. They are by far the best dealer in the world. Yes, I know I don't know all the other dealers. However, I know my dealer and I get top-notch service whether I'm there or not. Like if Lisa hadn't gotten me a ticket, they were like, hey girl, we got you covered. That's the kind of support that I know that many people love. But the vendors there were amazing. Like I was able to find really great purchases, really great buys. One of the things that I love, let me show you this. Now this is something that we actually sell in my family store, Harmony Trace Apothecary. But it's created from upcycled saris, right? So these were cut into squares and essentially just sewn together, right? Very similar to how a quilt top is sewn together. There is a backing, etc. However, I found a vendor that was out there that sold these squares. I was excited, right? Because one, upcycling, repurposing, recycling, all of that is very, very important to me. Adding more sustainability into this hobby that I so love, that has grown into more than a hobby, is really important to me. So I loved finding a vendor that did that. I was also able to connect and meet the one and only Rashida Coleman. And Rashida is a Black designer and artist for Ruby Star Society. Like their fabrics are so good. I even made an entire outfit that was made from the fabric that she created, but not just that. Y'all, my girl Rashida has a whole blanket. Get into it. Oh, it's upside down. Hold on. Okay, this is the blanket. Y'all, there are Black women on it. One, I love this color because this absolutely matches with my earthiness. Love that so much. Also love this side. It is this beautiful teal blue. I keep it in my office because I don't want to share it with my kids, okay? But I got the opportunity to really connect and meet with a bunch of people. Now, I'm also an AccuQuilt user. I love my AccuQuilt. I have it on the floor next to me right here. I don't know if you all check my blog, but this is what I used in order to create my family's advent calendar, and it was so easy. I'm also working on coming up with some of my own quilt designs to use some of their blocks that they already have existing. Why? Because I like to make things hard, right? But meeting some of these vendors and meeting the people there was so helpful in my journey. But also I got the opportunity to meet Henry. I did not take a picture with him, but Henry is an 8-year-old quilt artist and he won 2nd place. And I was so inspired just by meeting him. So yeah, I got a chance to meet people. I got a chance to meet vendors. I got a chance to shop and take a look at some of these additional notions and fabrics, and it was really fun, right? It was fun to go and touch the fabrics. It was really fun to meet some of these designers, but I was so excited to meet some of my friends that I've known for years that I finally have the opportunity to see in real life. One of the people that I finally got a chance to meet was Porphyria. She's a Black quilt artist and Black quilt designer, and I got a chance to hang out with her. I met a girlfriend that neither one of us knew that we needed in our life, and her name is Alicia. She's also a quilt artist, but I was able to see and meet so many people. Like, I was floored. I got a chance to see all of the beautiful fabrics from Aurifil. Now listen, since I became a BERNINA brand ambassador and use BERNINA machines, as you can see featured behind me, I learned that not all threads are made equally. Okay. Now, Aurifil is a thread that I have actually bought and loved myself, and I was able to meet them, and I was geeked because like their variegated threads, hands down, my favorite. Like, I hate having only coordinated threads that go with my designs. Like, I like to have a little bit of fun, especially if I'm top stitching or if I'm hemming, and I want some extra razzle dazzle. So meeting Aurifil was also really amazing. So should you go if you're an apparel sewist, or if you're just starting? You absolutely should go. Why? I left so inspired and so ready to just come home and go through my fabrics and sew all of the things, because I was just so excited to meet and communicate and fellowship with fellow sewists. So definitely definitely go. Okay, so the next up, because I am a glutton for punishment, immediately following QuiltCon in Atlanta, I flew myself and my daughter on out to Washington, where we were able to attend the Sewing and Stitchery Expo. It was held in Puyallup. Y'all don't even know how many times I practiced saying that in order to get that close to being right. But we went out there and I was teaching 5 classes. Now, you all know that I keep it 100% real whenever I talk to anyone about anything. I was nervous. Why? Because yes, while I do think that I'm a natural teacher, teaching people something that I have been completely self-taught, it was honestly like, girl, do you know what you're talking about? And here's the thing, and I know this is going to sound so funny, right? As I was out there, I began to binge watch Next in Fashion. It's on Netflix. You should absolutely watch it. I definitely binged it. I basically finished watching the entire thing while I was out there. It just dropped March 3rd. Y'all do the math. So anyway, I digress. But it was really inspiring for me to watch them as I was doing something for the first time. Now, in Next in Fashion, they do have some who are professionally trained sewists and fashion designers, right? But then there's also some of them who are just your homegrown, self-taught, mistakes taught them sewists and designers. And of course, that is who I align with because that's how I learned, y'all. When I started sewing, YouTube was not a thing, right? Nobody could attend YouTube University. You had to go and sit your behinds right on up there in those classes and learn in a way that you didn't even want to learn. Okay, I digress. I'm back. We're here. It's fine. Everything's okay. So I was nervous to say the least, right? On top of the fact that we got in super late. We didn't land into Washington until probably about 11:30, 11:45. Then we had to go and get the bags. And then I brought with me like a huge box that had all of the patterns with me. And then we had to get the rental car, and then we had to drive to our Airbnb, get settled, and go to bed. By the time that we finally got settled into our Airbnb and went to sleep, it was probably like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning there. And that's 3 hours behind my normal time. Now, we had to be up and at the expo by 8 a.m. because my first class, 8:30. Yes. So, and my first class was teaching people how to go through a project. Now, I've not done that before. I do sew-alongs, yes, on TikTok in the mornings. But again, it's normally just like, hey, if you want to sew along, cool. But I'm going to just be over here sewing and chatting. Like, we're just talking, okay? But it was a really great learning experience for me. My focus of the class was in teaching how to sew a tiered dress just using the BERNINA L890. Why just that? Because so many people have been taught in order to gather your stitches to make a tiered gathered dress, you have to do like 3 rows of stitching on your sewing machine. Y'all, not for me. I have always gathered on my serger. Literally, as soon as I learned how to gather on my serger, that's all I did. I would be like, oh, we not gathering on the serger? Well, I am. So I digress. But I wanted to make sure that people understood that your serger is something that can be used for more than just one project, right? Your serger is not a monolith. You can do so many different things with it. I made an entire quilt top with my serger, right? So I wanted to drive home that you could use your serger in a couple of different ways. And then I also wanted them to fall in love with the BERNINA L890, just like I did. The L890, definitely top notch. We'll have to do a separate video on her later. My L890's name is Bernadette, and Bernadette, she be out here working. So I do think that my class got the skill set. I was able to kind of get everything that was out to them that they needed as far as the pattern goes, their fabrics. Amanda's Bundles was my sponsor for my class. And again, I can't promote Amanda's Bundles and talk about them enough because they have the best fabric. This is where this is from. I love, love, love their fabric. They are the only ones who really sell Oakley and Peach for performance. And those are 2 of my favorite fabrics to work with. So they were able to provide fabric kits that had everything that they needed inside of them. And BERNINA made sure that my machines were set up. I just gave the thread color that was going to be in there, and Amanda picked out fabrics that would go with it. So boom, very, very easy. It was hard for me to understand and realize that I have to slow down in my own process in order to teach it. Like Julian from Julian Creates, he laughs and jokes with me and he's like, yeah, you're like Speedy So Galas, because I do tend to move very quickly. Why? Because I'm normally sewing in between like a million other things that I've got going on. As a mom of 3 who used to homeschool, that was like my survival technique, right? Was to be able to go in and make a project in an hour or less. Why? Because that's all at the time that I had. But having to kind of go back and slow down so that I can teach the process was a learning experience for me. Now, my understanding is that I was also set up for the wrong class. This was my first time teaching as well as attending the Sew Expo, and they do actually have a class that is taught on Wednesday that is a 4-hour class, and everybody was like, girl, you got to come back for that 4-hour class and I will absolutely enroll. So next year, that's what we will be doing, okay? Then I taught two additional class topics, but I had a total of 4 more classes. I taught about measurements because I do feel like not enough people know outside of the basic bust, waist, hip measurements to take in order to get your garments to fit right? And I know I typically make quite a few adjustments. And the only reason why I know that I have to make these adjustments is because of some additional measurements, like your side waist, right? From your arm size down to your natural waist. And your natural waist is not normally your high waist, no matter how much we like to hike our pants or our skirts up, right? So that class was so good. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed teaching it. And then I had the opportunity to also teach about a cohesive wardrobe, not capsule wardrobe. The difference between a cohesive wardrobe and a capsule wardrobe is a capsule wardrobe is geared towards minimalists, right? You pick, and it's very structured as well, right? Like you pick the colors based off of what looks good on you. I'm black, I look good in every color. And then you eliminate all of the other colors. You have like 30 pieces in your closet and that's it. Now, as much as I would like to be a minimalist, I'm a work in progress. I'll be a minimalist by the time that we get our tiny house, okay? I'm not a minimalist now. That's just my truth of the matter, right? I have so many fabrics that I love and that I feel like are good to me and that I can't wait to create into something that I will love to wear. So I spoke to having a cohesive wardrobe. And what I mean by that is being able to put together pieces in your closet that make you feel really good. That when you walk into your closet, you're like, oh, I do have something to wear. As opposed to being like, oh my God, nothing matches, or oh, I have nothing to wear. So that is the difference between what I talked about and what was like as far as a capsule wardrobe. All of my sessions were full except for my last session that was on Sunday afternoon. And y'all, I had the best time teaching. But let's talk a little bit about the vendors, right? The vendors were fantastic. So again, BERNINA was out there. Y'all know I'm gonna always talk about BERNINA until I die because I am a BERNINA girly all the way through. Now, Ditto Projector was also out there. Y'all have been asking me so many questions about Ditto Projector. And y'all, I don't really like to talk smack about other people or brands. So I'm going to leave it at that. No, I'm just joking. I'm not going to talk smack about them, period. I did get to go through the demo with my girlfriend, Bethany, who is a Singer brand ambassador. And so Singer is associated with Ditto, which is probably the reason why they didn't reach out to me because I'm a BERNINA girl. But I got a chance to kind of get more intimate with the Ditto machine. And I think that it is interesting. There's a couple of things that I don't love about their marketing, right? Like how they were like, oh, well, we're the first to change the face of sewing in 160 years. I think not, right? Projectors for sewing have been around for a really long time, not even including the fact that about 5 years ago, Projectors for Sewing group on Facebook was started by other people, right? People were using projectors even before then, but I think that it really, the way that they have marketed it really does erase a lot of the work that so many sewists have done in the community in order to create a more sustainable way of sewing, right? And it is more sustainable because I used to go through reams of paper doing pattern tests. Paper, tape, ink, all of that is not only costly monetary wise, but it's costly to the environment as well. So we've been doing this, and I'm on year 3 of sewing with a projector. So they just came out this year. That's all I'm going to say. I do think that $800 is a little steep for the capabilities of the projector, and I do think that you'd be able to get a projector for cheap. Check my links below. I do teach a class on projector sewing. I do have another class that's coming up very soon about how to make the adjustments that you need to for your body while using projector files. So definitely enroll in those things if you think that that will help you. I do know that there's a lot of questions about projectors. One of the things I do love about Ditto Projector is that they have really opened up the conversation about projectors and projector sewing. So if you have questions, or if you're like, I am pretty sure projector sewing's for me, but I don't have $800, definitely enroll in one of my classes. You won't regret it. So I definitely had the best time ever at the Sew Expo. Teaching there was such a great time. I had the opportunity to really network and grow and learn myself. I don't think that I expected to learn as much as I did, but I did. The classes that they had out there, I thought that their class roster was fantastic. I was able to join Jessica Rabbert. She also works with Amanda at Amanda's Bundles, and she's also a BERNINA brand ambassador. So I got to meet up with her, and I got to see how she taught about neckbands, which I think is really helpful. A lot of people get a little nervous when it comes time to band. She was able to teach a class that made so much sense. And seeing as though I've never actually taken a class outside of the one that I took when I was 13, it was really cool to see someone else teach a class on sewing. But I also learned a lot about her as far as pacing went, because she went way slower than I did in any of my classes. I do know that I tend to talk very quickly, and I tend to go through concepts very fast. It's something that I'm definitely going to work on to make sure that you all can understand and follow along with everything that I have to share. So in review, I would actually love to do classes at QuiltCon, as well as teach again at the Sewing and Stitchery Expo, and actually at any expo that is like talking about teaching sewing. I'm having the greatest time ever. But if you're like, hey girl, I want to see you teach, but you have some specific things that you want me to teach, definitely drop a comment and let me know. Because listen, I will begin to pitch those classes out there, okay? And you can come and see me in person. We can hang out. I was actually supposed to grab dinner with someone while I was out there, but they didn't hit me back up. So the food out there was great. We did on Sunday before we headed out, we went to downtown Seattle and we got a chance to go to the Starbucks Reserve, which was really, really fun. I know that Starbucks can sometimes be a little bit questionable. However, the Reserve was really, really cool. It's like a museum / they have an exclusive menu that's there. Everything that we had there was really delicious, and I had a great time. So yeah, I definitely think that more like expos and conferences that are sewing related are in my future, because being surrounded by people who get you when you talk about not having enough fabric, or when you talk about, oh, actually, let me show you my fabric I got. Okay, so the rest, I'm going to show you 3 cuts of fabrics, but my fabrics that I got from Amanda's Bundles are not in my office right now. In fact, one set of fabrics have already been sewn into something. So, but I discovered Rainier Fabrics. They're a custom fabric group. And so I got this cut. This is a double brush polyester. And I got this for my middle daughter. I thought this would be super fun because summer is coming, right? I was geeked about that. I got this one for my son. So I actually already have a swim fabric that's very similar to it, and he came into my office and he was like, Mommy, I love this fabric. Can you make me a shirt out of it? And I was like, Bud, it's for swimming, so I can make you like a rash guard for the summertime, but I think otherwise it would be too hot. And he was like, okay, I'll take that. Like, he's like, I'll take anything. Please just make me something. So I was really excited to find that fabric because I was like, oh, he's going to love this. And then I finally got this fabric as well. I did buy it for myself because I love dinosaurs as well. Summer is coming and I already know what I'm going to make with this. I plan to make the Lola tank from Stay Stitch Patterns, but I also have a goddaughter who I think needs something made out of it as well. I mean, like God mommy and God baby matching. I think that's cute. Anyway, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for sticking with me as I went through that little, you know, absentee period. Expect more of those because that's who I am as a creator. but definitely stick around. Thank you so much. If you have not subscribed, make sure that you subscribed, you turn on the bell so that you know when I do post, and maybe we'll do some fun lives together soon. I'll see you next time.